We're going to be making minestrone soup today. It's a great winter soup to have. It warms the heart, but you can also make it in the summer when you've got a lot of fresh fruits and vegetables. So let me tell you what we've got. It took me longer to get these vegetables ready than it probably is going to take for us to put the soup together. So I've got 1 cup of onions, 4 to 5 cloves of minced garlic, and 3 tablespoons of olive oil, 1 cup of celery, 1 cup of chopped carrots, 1 small eggplant chopped, 3.5 cups of water, a teaspoon of salt, a large can or about 2 cups of diced tomatoes, and a similar can of crushed tomatoes, 1 zucchini cubed up, some herbs. So this is 1 teaspoon of dried oregano, 1 teaspoon of dried basil, and 2 tablespoons of dried parsley, and a cup of chopped peppers. You can use any color pepper, green, frozen, chopped big or chopped small. And then finally I have a can of Great Northern beans, a can of kidney beans, some ground pepper, 3 tablespoons of dry red wine, and then some cooked pasta in the back. And the pasta you can use a little or a lot or leave it out altogether. Okay, we're going to start putting our minestrone soup together. I've got a nice big soup pot here, and I've got it on medium heat. I'm going to add my 3 tablespoons of olive oil, my 4 to 5 cloves of garlic, and my cup of chopped onions. So I learned a trick that if you breathe only through your mouth when you're chopping onions, it won't make you cry. You can also use frozen chopped onions. That's really easy, or you can use a food processor to chop your onions for you. So we're just gonna let that simmer, saute. We're gonna let it saute a little bit. So saute means to mix oil or some kind of fat and vegetables or meat, and just let it simmer. Just kind of cook until those vegetables begin to cook. So our onions and our garlic are all sauteed. The onions are starting to get clear, and we're ready to move on to the next step. So we're going to add a cup of celery and our 1 cup of carrots all chopped up, and our eggplant. And we're going to let all of that cook for about 10 minutes. Give it a good stir so everything's coated with a little bit of that oil. I've got my heat pretty much on low right now. I don't want anything to burn at this point. And we'll just let that cook. You can cover it if you like. So we're working on our minestrone soup. Our vegetables are looking pretty good. Our onions, our eggplant, and our celery. We're going to add everything else except the pasta to this pot and let it cook for a bit. So 3.5 cups of water, or 2 teaspoons of salt, which you can add more or less to your taste, 2 cups of crushed tomatoes, 2 cups of diced or chopped tomatoes, and these can be fresh or they can be home canned. One zucchini cubed, 1 cup of chopped sweet peppers, our herbs, which is 1 teaspoon of oregano, 1 teaspoon of basil, and 2 tablespoons of parsley. Give that a stir before we add anything else. Ooh, look at all that. That is looking good. Really good. Turn my heat up just a tad. All right, I've got a can of dark red kidney beans. These are organic, but they certainly don't have to be. With all of the liquid that's in the can. Come on, 1 more bean. 1 can of Great Northern beans, Again, these are organic, but they don't have to be, with all of the liquid. And you're working around a camera as well as all your ingredients, things get a little tight. Some basil behind. 1/4 of a teaspoon of ground pepper. And 3 tablespoons of dry red wine, but that is optional. I'll leave my pasta out until the very last. Let's give this a stir and see what it looks like. Yeah, that is a very hearty soup. So we're gonna let this cook for about 20 minutes. Set the timer for 20 minutes on medium heat. If it looks like it's boiling too fast, you can turn it down. If it's not boiling fast enough, you can turn it up a little bit. We'll come back and give it a taste, adjust the seasonings, and then add our pasta, and it will be ready to go. Okay, we're back. Our soup has been bubbling away for about 20 minutes. It's looking nice and thick. It smells pretty good. The vegetables look like they're pretty much all cooked. The zucchini's starting to change color, so that means it's softening up. And you can let it sit here and bubble away on the stove for a long time. You may need to add some more liquid if you're going to let it cook for very long. You can also put this all in a crock pot in the morning and just let it simmer away. I want to taste it and see if I want to add anything to it. For me, I think I need just a little bit more salt. So I'm going to add about a 1/3 of a teaspoon more salt, and then taste it again. Sometimes the tomatoes are canned with salt, the organic tomatoes that I had or not, and that makes a difference. That's better. That's better. So I'm going to add my pasta. Now, 1 cup of pasta cooked, 1/2 pasta dry cooked, should equal about a cup. I'm not exactly sure how much pasta that was that I just put in here. You can add more pasta, you can add less pasta, you can leave the pasta out altogether. It just gives you a little bit more in your soup bowl. All right, let's see what this looks like. This soup bulks up nicely. You can double, triple, quadruple the recipe and make more. Yeah, that's a nice bowl of soup. Warm you up on a winter's day with a nice slab of fresh bread.